Due to the following CBS School Break special, Magnum PI will not be seen today. It will be broadcast tomorrow in the regular time period.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
Years of work pretty much into this big coffee table book, which now is benefited by a show like this where you can see a lot of this stuff that I newly created and some of the older stuff I've done.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Good to see Chip Zdarsky again. Welcome back to Word Balloon, my man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. I'm trying out some things here.
Well, I'm excited, Chip. I've been excited ever since I read the first issue of Captain America, and I mean that. Well, we can get into your Batman run as well, because that was certainly
Cool.
epic, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know. So the decision to switch to or to retell Cap's story and really take us back to him getting thawed out of the ice in today's modern world. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, I started to think about the kind of Cap stories I wanted to tell, and the one interesting thing about the sliding timeline of the Marvel Universe is that when he originally came out of the ice, it was like 15 years, right? Like there wasn't that big of a period between him going in the ice and him coming out. So that was more of a story about a man who just like wakes up and all of his loved ones are a little bit older, you know? Whereas doing it now with the timeline, it's kind of becomes a sci-fi story in a weird way to wake up like, 60, 70, whatever years after everyone you know is gone and technology has advanced so much, like it becomes a different kind of story. So it felt like it was a time to update that. And when I just started to kind of pull at that thread a little bit, I realized, well, like he would come out of the ice after September 11th, like based on that kind of that 10-year rule that Marvel has. So it seemed like the time to kind of update that and just kind of give everyone kind of a fresh look at Cap, the way Cap has his fresh look at the Marvel Universe.
I love it, and honestly, I think it does open a lot of story
Cool.
possibilities. Um, and also your new character David. I mean, we've seen other people take
Yeah.
up the mantle of Captain America, but as you said, Steve was in the ice when 9/11 hit. David was
Yeah.
very much traumatized by the events of 9/11. Talk about David.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've had other Captain Americas before, but it felt like kind of a missed opportunity to explore a Captain America for that post 9/11 period. Um, like I feel like if Stan Lee was writing the comic, like he would have done the exact same thing. Um, so yeah, so it felt important to kind of, if we were shifting the timeline, to look at that period and be like, well, there was so much patriotism in the air post 9/11 of the country coming together. Um, so a Captain America kind of just made sense. Yeah, and like when I got the gig, I'm a Canadian, and so I started to read a lot of kind of American history books and books about America at war, kind of well-known wars, less well-known wars, American imperialism, and I read the Forever War, which was kind
Hmm.
of about the period of post 9/11, written by this New York Times journalist, boots on the ground kind of stuff. And it was just yeah, it was a fascinating read, and I was just like, oh, like what would it be like for a Steve Rogers style character or a Captain America character to be there in this conflict? And yeah, so the David Colton character kind of sprung from that. It felt like a good way to introduce Cap to the modern world.
Yeah, and again, because he's been replaced. And with
Hmm.
no thought of, well, eventually he'll be, nobody knew that he was in the ice and everything. So yeah, that made a
Yeah,
lot of
exactly.
sense. And also,
Yeah.
I remember during 9/11, for a very brief moment, we had access to a 24-hour news channel from Canada. I want to say NWI or something like that. I could be getting the letters wrong, but it was
Yeah.
great to get a North American view of 9/11 that was not jingoistic and kind of a wait a minute, what's really happening here? And I can appreciate, especially 3 issues in, the conflicts that Steve is going through, and we'll get into the 3 issues you've done so far.
Hmm.
But I really, this is a great story opportunity, and I mean I love his instinct, and let's talk about it, to initially go back to the military.
Yeah,
He's
that
yeah.
was the
Tell
other
us.
big point. That was the other big point that I kind of said to Marvel. I'm just like, some people have explored this kind of period before. Mark Waid did it in a miniseries, but I feel like if somebody was a soldier in the middle of a war and then they go to sleep and then they wake up like a moment later in terms of
Yeah,
their physical health and their mental health, um, the first thing they would do is go back to base. Like you've got to go back to base and get a sit rep. They got to figure out um, what's happened, who won the war, like what's the state of the world in America. So yeah, so I think Steve Rogers, that would be his first instinct. In the original comics in the 60s, he just kind of he's woken up by the Avengers, joins them on an adventure, and then joins up. Um, which is fun and fine, but
sure.
I was like, I felt like there should be something kind of in between waking up and fully joining the Avengers. So, yeah, again, it's just kind of like a little bit. It's just kind of problem solving. You're just like, okay, well, what would happen if this actually happened? Like based on what we know of the character and the modern period. And so, yeah, going back to base.
Again, he doesn't know any of these people. So yeah, it would
Yeah,
seem like the one familiar thing he does have is the Army code and the Army system. But I do love
yeah,
that he immediately goes to Thunderbolt Ross, and that's again interesting opportunity.
yeah. Like especially since like we play with a lot of kind of Red Hulk stuff kind of later on.
Okay.
Um, and so I mean, there's a method to the madness of setting our first story in the past. It might not be the smartest move in terms of like readers want to know what's happening right now in the Marvel universe. I'm like, oh, well, let's take a step back and take a look at this period. But it all feeds into what we're going to be doing with the modern Cap stories kind of later on, and how he feels about and how Ross feels about him. So yeah, so it's fun to kind of lay the groundworks in the past.
Well, and also, my God, to wake up and all right, you got to go after this dictator named Victor Von Doom, and
Yeah,
he gets there, and man, issue 3 was just so great. I'm a big fan of
awesome.
yours, and I really, and really,
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, my God, to the point of literally, he's got an exhibit of Steve and Bucky and stuff in Castle Doom.
yeah. Doom hates Nazis. Like he
Yeah,
hates Nazis. That's just fact. He's of Romani heritage and like he really did not care for the Red Skull and all the Nazism. Um, yes, I mean that's it. Bringing in Doom also just felt like a natural extension of Steve waking up because he wakes up, he goes back to work, and what's new? Well, what's new is there's a guy who's been attacking America, this dictator in Europe. I was like, oh, that feels familiar to Steve. Like maybe I should do something about this. Without fully knowing the world he stepped into. So yeah, I love when you kind of work on a story like this and the pieces just kind of fall together. It's like, oh, if this happens and this happens and that character means this, and so working on Cap's been a joy for that reason alone. Like everything just kind of falls together. Like I sent in the script for issue 13. I'm just like, oh, this feels like one big story. Like 13 picks up elements of issue one. Like there's a lot happening.
Well, there's a lot happening in the current world right now too. Was
Sure.
Marvel at all concerned about I mean, certainly Doom is constant, and there's always problems
Yeah.
in Latveria and everything.
Yeah.
But any sort of allusions to world politics today, were they concerned at all?
No, I mean that's kind of part of the it was kind of part of the beauty of also setting this in the past. I'm not necessarily talking about America in its current incarnation, but I'm talking about America's past, and especially that period between World War II and present day. A lot of the stuff that we see in Latveria, and even just kind of going into Latveria the way they have, like um, there are a lot of elements of that kind of picked up from American military history, right? So,
Sure,
that's why I call the arc our Secret Wars, because that's been the case for a lot of kind of America's involvement on the global stage,
you bet.
uh, since World War II.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Excluding the big pieces like Vietnam and
sure.
Iraq War, things like that. But like, you know,
Skirmishes. Yeah.
yeah, skirmishes and like kind of overthrowing governments
Oh yeah.
and taking on united taking on the enemies of united fruit. Like there's
I
so many weird things that kind of you learn about. You're like, oh, okay. You know, I have a thing right now, and I talk to my friends a lot about it. Like we're all kind of caught up in what's happening right now,
sure.
for good reason. Um, but I keep saying to my friends, I'm like, I've learned more about modern America reading history books of America than I do reading someone's tweet about what's happening today
Oh
or
yeah.
in this moment. You kind of need to like look at it through the lens of some time before you actually kind of know exactly what went wrong, what happened. You need a proper analysis with a little bit of distance. Um, but our 24-hour news cycle doesn't really cut into that.
I'm with you, man. No, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I'm glad you because literally my brain went right to United Fruit and the CIA's skirmishes in South
sure.
America,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that. And yeah, people don't know. I always give it up to Chaikin for his American Century books
yeah,
that he did and everything back in the early 2000s. And yeah, that
yeah,
is that period and everything. And it does. It puts America in a different light. And we should own up to it. Just like we expect
yeah,
Germans to own up to World War II, and they do. It's like no, we really and oh, hell, man, we didn't even know about the massacres in the 20s, and now I'm blanking. Well, Memphis, right? Wasn't it Memphis where
yeah,
they were burning out black businesses and stuff? Yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, that's part of American history. We need to own up to it. And again, that's why I appreciate the analogy of
yeah,
what you're doing. So,
yeah. And like yeah, a lot of the stories about like American occupation of the Philippines, like there's so much,
yep. Oh
there's so
yeah,
much of just like, oh my God.
yeah.
But I mean, every country has it.
Of
That's the
course.
thing. Like Canada has it, like
Really,
100%.
who did Canada hassle? Talk to me.
Well, let's just talk about the
Well, of
people
course,
that
the
were living
indigenous,
here.
yeah, the indigenous
You
people.
know,
Shame on me. Of course, shame on me.
there's
Sorry, buddy.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot of our history
yeah,
that is
yeah.
not something to be proud of.
No,
But
I
also
hear you.
Canada has been able to just kind of like coast a little bit because of our close alliance with America. Um, we may not have done a lot of kind of shady shit, but we didn't have to do the shady shit because someone was doing it for us.
Yeah, your big brother was doing it. If you'll pardon the
Yeah,
expression,
yeah, yeah.
your
So
fat brother. As I told Dave Foley that great line from Kids in the Hall when he was in a job interview. And I'm
yeah.
from Canada. Canada? Yeah, it's like America without the gut. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what Canada is compared to the U.S. Absolutely, man. So here we are. But
Yeah,
talk,
it's
keep
so
going. Yeah.
yeah, so there's something about like kind of looking at things through the lens of history, instead of looking at things through the lens of current day, because
So
you can get blindsided a little bit with current day stuff.
So again, without, and I don't want you to spoil, but how many issues are we going to spend in this period before you get to modern day Steve?
It's just the first arc, so
Okay,
whatever that is, 5, 6 issues. Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
And then we go straight into our second arc basically takes place right after One World Under Doom wraps up. So there is some Doom connection there.
sure,
We've teased out some promo stuff of Doom. Um, so yeah, so it definitely it picks up thematically uh very heavily from the first arc.
Understood. Yeah, I was wondering just because obviously he's
Yeah.
missing Bucky in this first arc, and I love that his inner
Mhm.
monologue also is just kind of lean on Bucky's. God, Buck, what did I do? Did I do this right or whatever? I think again, I
Yeah.
think that just informs Steve. And again, his closest ally isn't there for him. He really is alone on this mission, despite being surrounded
Yeah.
by the Howlers and everything.
Yeah, yeah, but they're new. I mean, that's the thing. The
Yeah,
Howlers are not people he necessarily knows or should trust, you know?
right. Tell me about the new
Yeah.
Howlers that you created. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, Chill and Slate. Like I needed Howlers basically. And I was like, well, what kind of characters can I kind of put can I flank Steve with? And uh and yeah, just like real kind of precision type characters who are clearly very good at going into countries and doing quick hits on people and things. So that's been fun, just kind of like bouncing them off Steve and David.
Okay. I
Yeah.
saw a tease of the cover. I want to say it's the December cover where it's a photo of the Avengers and everything. By that point, are we
hmm
in modern day, or is that still flashbacky?
That's still in the past. Yeah,
Okay.
that's just kind of like on the other end of it. It's kind of, I mean, I can't really spoil thing that
Yeah, yeah.
has happened, but like, we kind of bring you up to speed before he joins the Avengers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's cool. Again,
yeah,
I just think David is really a great opportunity in a way that other caps have not been.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Talk more about David for me.
He's fun to write because he's like he believes in the mission. Like there's some similarities to like John Walker's character.
Hmm.
Because I grew up reading Grunwald stuff
Sure.
and those issues of, Cap No More and John Walker becoming Captain America. Those hit really hard. There's some like really big cool things in those issues, which were also just hated at the time. I love reading the letters pages of those old issues. Like 98% of people were just like, I hate everything that's happening right now. And
Sure.
you know, like anything, you have to get the fuller story before you recognize what Marvel was doing. Um, but yeah, I wanted this character to kind of like feel like John Walker without the kind of not madness, but that kind of like extreme anger that kind of lurked in John Walker. Like David doesn't have that necessarily. Um, he can be placed in situations where loses control, but like he believes so strongly in like that he's helping people. I think that's super important for that character. Like he's got to like in his heart be like, what are we doing to help people? And for him, it's democracy, it's freedom, and it's an easy thing to say when you live in a country that has had it almost from its inception, and it's a much harder thing to make happen in a place with a vastly different culture and different way of doing things, which is another thing I really picked up reading kind of a lot of these history books, just like the attempts to bring kind of full democracy to say Iraq was like, or Afghanistan is like hard, so hard, and like there's so much resistance on every level, and just just yeah, people
Yeah.
that would push for it, and then people that wouldn't grasp it, and people that would want the old ways, and um, yeah, it's hard, it's harder to accomplish than
Ha- ha- ha-
you think coming from a country that has democracy, right?
Sure. Have you seen any feedback? I mean, again, we're in a really weird position right now as you look down on us from Canada, and where the country is and everything. But yeah, I mean, and it because it's I wouldn't call it prescient. Again, I guess given that you're aware of the real, kind of the deep cuts of American history and stuff, I don't know how it's resonating. Have you heard from the audience how it's resonating so far?
No, and
Ah,
I kind of set it up that way, really. Like I don't exist online the way I used to.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I kind of like just project things out from my newsletter,
God
and
bless you,
that's
kid.
it. And that's it, right? Like I'll run into people that'll tell me they're enjoying it, and that's nice. But also, I can't let any of that get into my head. I think I'm at the stage now in my life where I'm just like, okay, if I got a story to tell, I'm going to tell the story, and I'm using this company's characters to do it, and and that's my job, and it's
Sure.
fun and it's great. And if I'm fucking up, Marvel will tell me, or the sales will tell me via Marvel, right? And so far, all I'm getting is positive news from Marvel on all the fronts. So they're happy with it. Um, People there who are reading it are just saying nice things to me. And I'm just generally happy with it. Like so, I hate to be like I'm just writing it for me, but I kind of am. Like I'm writing the cap story I want to read, and some people will want to read it, some people won't, some people like it, some people won't. And if you don't like it, then take a little pause on cap and like go pick it up when I'm fired and check out the new guy.
Everybody's run ends,
I,
so I do
I get
understand. Yeah, yeah. No, I get it, buddy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean, I've
you
had
know,
periods yeah, yeah.
no, go ahead.
You and I have been reading these books long enough that we know that like if we don't like a run of a character or a particular writer or artist even,
Sure.
then all right, I'll go read something else for a bit, and if it changes and I like the new guy, I'll read that. That's fine.
Have you really had any pushback where you've when you were more social media aware and also even at cons because truly I'm so glad Chip that you are getting these opportunities to write the frontline heroes and stuff. I mean I've always enjoyed your stuff and I've enjoyed your humor, I've enjoyed your art, but now you really are
Oh,
getting to play
thanks.
with the toy box and everything and we'll get to Batman. But yeah, have you had any
Yeah.
sort of like I don't like this and I don't like you, to any degree?
No, no. Like that's a thing because it at conventions or signings, um, people are lovely. Like, you don't really stand in line for a couple hours to meet a guy to say you hate him. And if you do, all right, you got something going on there. Like the closest I would come, there was like one guy at one convention who just really needed specific answers for things. And I was like, oh man, this is like the internet come to life in front of me. But also, like, he was there with his dad, and I could tell that he was like on the spectrum and he was having a lot of big feelings about things. And I'm like,
Sure.
oh yeah. Like,
Sure.
usually the guys that are kind of like really kind of digging in online about stuff, they got other things going on. And you don't
Yeah.
really recognize it when you just read words on a website. But when you see them in real life, you're like, oh, okay, this character means a lot to you, and you've got kind of some neurodivergent things happening, and like I just got to be kind of calm and patient with you, and hope the line up behind you understands that like, I got to spend a bit of extra time just to like help you through this.
Sure.
Um, and that's it. Like that's the only time I've actually kind of had kind of a like a oh okay moment. But
Yeah.
like I don't know, like I've done a fair amount of shows and signings the past couple of years, and like they've all just been great. Like you know,
Yeah.
and I don't really again I don't really go online. Like I'm sure there are people that don't like it, but it doesn't matter really. Like
I-
people don't like anything.
well, yeah. Yeah.
Like from the first. I mean, we got bad letters to sex criminals when we started for
Sure.
sure,
Sure.
and Howard the Duck or Star Lord or whatever. Like you'll always have that. But like so what?
Yeah. No, I'm with you,
It,
man.
if I created something that everybody loved, then it's probably really bland. Like there's
Yes.
probably something wrong with it. Like
Yep.
it's just that's just the way it is with art and
Well, I
a
miss I
broad
miss you
audience.
I miss you playing on social media, and in fact, was telling a good friend of mine today how you would go to the Twitter accounts of products, and I forget what cleaner product you went to, and hey, tell us your stories about, and I'm just gonna throw a product there, Comet, and you're like our sex dungeon has never been cleaner thanks to Comet. And
Yeah.
it reminded us of me and my friend because he was aware of when Don Novello, the old Saturday Night Live performer and writer,
Hmm.
made the Laszlo letters, and he would write these fake crank letters to companies and stuff, and then publish the
Yeah.
responses. So yeah, I miss that
Had
shit.
a, I had a real good run on social media, but all good things come to an end. You eventually get too old, and you're just like, why am I wasting all my time? And
That's
this is the
true.
one thing, like my productivity doubled once I quit Twitter and Instagram and all that jazz. Like I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. When you actually don't have this dopamine feeding machine on all day, like you actually get your work done.
No, you're right about that, man. If I
Yeah.
truly, I mean, I'm doing it to promote Word Balloon, and I'm still Johnny Appleseed, getting one listener at a time. So it's kind of a necessary evil for the stuff I put out
Yeah.
there. But I absolutely
Yeah.
respect, and I think it is the healthiest choice, both for average people and for creative people, to be like, "Hey, man, I'm singing my song. If you don't like my song, no problem. There are other singers. Go right ahead and find them."
Yeah. Yeah. Like, social media is good for getting an audience, but when
Sure.
you just spend your whole life on there, that's when it kind of falls apart. Like you really need your guardrails. And also, I pointed out to some buddies of mine, I'm just like, there are comic creators on Twitter that I will never work with them because of the stuff they say and they do on Twitter. Like I just won't. I'm just like, oh, okay, you're an asshole. Like I don't want to work with you. Like there's
Yeah.
so many, and
Yeah.
they think they're on there, like increasing their chances of getting more gigs and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh no, you're actually telling editors that you are just an unfiltered piece of garbage who also probably doesn't draw your pages on time because you're on Twitter all the time or write your scripts on time. Like it can backfire, is what I'm saying.
No, I hear you, man. Um,
Yeah.
I are you still doing the newsletter that you were doing that was showing up in comic stores?
Yeah, yeah, it's Darcy Comic News.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'm working on issue 17 right now. But that's wrapping up too. I'm wrapping that up with
Oh,
issue
okay.
18 just because uh I'm
Killing too
finding it
much
hard to
time.
come up with. It takes up a lot of time. Um,
Go ahead. Excuse
a
me. I
lot.
stepped on your answer. You said it was
No, no, no.
harder to
It
come up with. Yeah.
yeah, harder to come up with like kind of cover lines and uh new gags and things like that. And um yeah, it's a lot of work. And I like it, but also when I look at my schedule, I'm just like, if I'm devoting a week of my month to this, like that's 25% of my working time and on a thing that's like, fun, but isn't necessarily paying the big bucks. Uh, and yeah, so time to wrap that up.
What kind of distribution did you get in the stores? And how did you go about getting distribution in the stores?
I mean, initially it was Diamond.
Sure.
Um, and the reason I went with Diamond was because like my initial idea for this was to promote my distillery book,
Mm-hmm.
Time Waits.
Yes.
And so they went exclusive with Diamond. So I'm just like, well, I'll deal with Diamond. And I printed up 50,000 of issue one, and did a Beyonce drop where it just got spread to all these stores, confused the fuck out of them. And then they could order after that, issue two, issue three.
Sure.
And by issue three, we had Lunar on board as a
Mm-hmm.
distributor. They've been great. And then obviously Diamond went kaput. And so
Yes.
I lost a bit of money on that end. And then it's been just with Lunar since then, and they've been great. And like the orders have been steady and going up. Like, I brought in a partner, Adam Freeman, to handle all the distribution and advertising stuff because that was too much for me.
Sure.
Um, and he's been great. And
Good.
yeah, it's been a joy, and I wish I had the energy to keep doing it.
Well, I understand. And again, everything
Yeah,
doesn't have to go forever, so I respect
yeah,
that.
like 18 issues of a free publication in comic shops is like I feel like that's a pretty good run
I
since I'm doing everything on it. Yeah.
completely, yeah, completely agree with you. Not to mention your Substack too.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the one nice thing about Starsky Comic News is it proves there's an appetite for it. And my hope is that other creators, people, whatever, um, takes that ball and go, okay, yeah, if this moron Chip can do it, we can do it. And because I genuinely think that, having your advertising and something fun in comic shops to get people interested in comics, having it physically be in comic shops is far greater than shouting into the void on Twitter, because that's the place where people buy comics. And
I,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm hoping people pick up the ball after I walk away and kind of make their own thing because it's doable and it's financially viable. Like I don't lose money on it. I make money. Um, yeah.
that's great, and I understand. I printed. I'm offering an e-magazine for a lot of my transcribed interviews, and I knew I was doing a convention. And just as a proof of concept, I made hard copies of my Jim Shooter interview and
Nice.
sold a couple. And honestly, I'm going to the local comic shops with the ones that are left. And so far, everybody has said, "Yeah, we'll buy
Yeah.
it from you and put it in the store." And eventually, the word balloon book will happen. There may be a Chip Zdarsky chapter in book one.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know. We'll talk.
scandalous.
Well, I know we'll talk
Yeah.
exactly. But no, but it's nice to see, and I've seen more both free papers, but also more, like when we grew up and it was Wizard and Comics Journal and the like and everything on
There's
the
a
stands.
ton. There's a
Yeah,
ton. Yeah, like Marvel Age. I love Marvel Age.
sure.
Amazing Heroes.
Loved Amazing Heroes. That my
Yeah.
favorite. Comics Interview, David Anthony Kraft.
Comics Interview. Yeah, I got some of those kicking around. Like
Sure.
there's, yeah, it was a joyous feeling going into a comic shop and getting those and like finding out what's coming up and seeing these interviews. Yeah. I think it's time to kind of get back to that.
Still time for the podcast as well for
Oh,
your
manga
podcast.
explaining?
Yeah.
Yeah, though
Oh
we
yeah,
haven't
you and
done one.
David Brothers. That's right. Shame on me, because yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
more like Matt Rosenberg's thing, but no, it's you guys doing manga, right? You and David Brothers.
Yeah, me, David Brothers, Debbie Oki, and Chris Butcher, and
Oh, okay,
yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we've done one, just because summer, everyone's just kind of like, oh, I got San Diego, or I'm traveling
sure.
Tokyo and summer vacations and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So we haven't recorded one in a while, but yeah, when we do, it's always fun. Yeah, yeah, I do like doing it.
That's cool. That's cool. No, and again, hey man, one man band. That's why I'm able to do the amount that I do. So,
Yeah, yeah,
Well, let's talk Batman because we really it's been a while since we've talked Batman, and
yeah,
way to go, Chip. Seriously, I'm so glad that DC stuck with you and the readers stuck
yeah,
with you,
yeah.
and that's a hell of a body of work. Now that you're done with it and everything.
I know it's funny. Like they announced the omnibus, and I was like, oh, did I do enough for an omnibus? And I looked, I'm like, oh my God, did I ever? Like, this Batman guy's really eating up a lot of my life. Yeah, no, it's cool. Like, kind of seeing it all laid out like that. I'm just like, wow, that's a lot. Like, yeah, total joy. Like, it was just like, it was such a machine. Like, especially working with Jorge, like, because he's so fast and so good, and all the other artists that came in and helped out.
Sure.
Like we were always so far ahead on that book. Like it was great. Like just like I never felt the stress of being on Batman because like there's so many resources put towards that book that that is kind of easy to do because it's just like, oh, okay, like we're ahead. People kind of have to follow Batman in a sense. Like whatever we do in that book, like people have to kind of pick up those strands. So we stayed far ahead to ensure that, people weren't surprised by things, especially with a lot of the planning. And so yeah, it was just a joy. Like right from the beginning. Like it's like a childhood dream and just like doing whatever you want, kind of big, fun, crazy stories and running around and yeah, I liked it. Big
It
fan of
had
Batman, turns out.
Yeah, who knew? It must have been satisfying to know that Failsafe, the Batman
Yeah,
AI that he constructed,
yeah,
not only took off in your book, but became such an important part of Absolute Power and the big events that were happening
yeah.
that year of DC and stuff. So yeah, how did that happen within the company and everything for what you? Because again, I assume you were just telling a Batman story, and then all of a sudden the big boy's like, wait a minute, I think we got something there. Let's play with it even more.
It was a very natural process, which was nice. Like, because at some point I was working on the title and from on high, DC was like, "Oh, we want to work towards an event, blah blah blah," and um, there was a brief period where because they were looking around because it was like, it was Tom King and Josh Williamson and me doing Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and it was like, we
Yeah,
need an event, and like Tom's like, I'm not writing another event, and and Josh is like, I've written way too many, I can't do another event, so they kind of looked to me for it. So there's a brief period where I was going to write it, but but all three of us kind of realized like, oh, we're all building towards something in our books, and those things once they touch, it becomes an event. Like you can kind of see it coming. Um, and so it was like it was really nice in that sense. Like it kind of happened naturally. And then when we got Mark Waid on board, because we were just like at one point, I think it was my editor who was just like, who hasn't done an event? Mark Waid. Like that's weird, right? Like not a proper thing. Like, and he's the guy who knows the most about DC, who's been around the longest, who's had all these hits, and it's like he's never done an event. So Mark, graciously kind of came on board to kind of handle the event, which was awesome. Yeah.
One of
And
my
then yeah, like this past week, McFarlane Toys announced like a Failsafe action figure. I'm just like, oh, that's fun. Like, it's
yay.
so cool to like create a thing with a buddy, and then they start making toys out of it. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool feeling.
Well, I imagine we're going to get a Captain America statue and figure of his current costume, or well, I should say his past costume in your current run as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny, and so you'll forgive me, honestly, Chip, because I know a lot of the guys and women are very conscious of. I'm going to make something, and my favorite phrase of the last 25 years, a toyetic idea that we can beyond the
Oh,
comics,
that
so yeah, so that must have been nice. I'm sure
I
that wasn't in your mind when you created
yeah.
Failsafe, or
No,
maybe it
no. I think
was.
the first time I ever heard the word toyetic was from Dan Slott, I'm pretty sure. 'Cause he was always big into that. I think he had in his contract that he gets every action figure from any kind of creation he does at Marvel. I'm like, oh, okay, you're that guy. All right. Um, but personally, I don't collect toys.
Sure.
Like the only thing I have that comes close to an action figure is right up there, and it's a 3D statue of Matt Fraction showing off his belly. Like that's it. That's
is
as
that
action figure as I get.
is that from your sex criminal design of Matt and everything, or I mean, I always assumed.
No,
You'll
he
forgive
sent me
me.
a
I
3D. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second
Yeah,
here.
bring it over because I can't zoom in. Excellent, man. This is hilarious. I'm so glad you're doing this, Chip. Wow. And I like that it's the
All
back
right.
of
So
him. So a little plumber's butt action
yeah.
on
So
Matt Fraction.
yeah,
It
I
does.
broke his hands off accidentally. He was holding up
Oh,
he was holding up a blank sign, and he mailed me all the little sayings I could put on it, like "Keep it up, chum" kind of stuff. 3D
it you know it
marvels, the marvels of technology.
it, it does look like Matt. That
Yeah,
is kind of frightening.
get that little bit. Yeah,
There, very
pretty
nice.
good.
Jesus, you got to send it to
Pretty good.
Ibrahim. Send it to Ibrahim
Yeah.
Mustafa, who makes custom
There we
figures.
go. Yeah,
Oh wow, there!
that's
Wow,
messing with
nice.
his hands. Yeah,
That's awesome.
pretty good. So
Jesus,
that's an action figure for you. Look at that. Captured his bulge. It's
that's
good.
hilarious.
Um,
Go
so
ahead.
yeah, so I never think about toys, like
Okay.
especially when I'm writing. Um, and the first time something got made was uh, I think it was like the Daredevil Electra costume. They
Oh
put out like an
sure.
action figure of
Yeah,
that,
sure.
and then that King Daredevil costume.
Yes.
And so just seeing those out in the wild and like getting to sign those, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I still don't have either of those. Like, I'm just not really. I debated. I was like at a convention. They were there on sale. I'm just like, am I gonna spend $20 on this thing? Nah. Like it's such a foreign world to me, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think about the toy side of things. You
You
want
know,
it to look cool, obviously. And
sure.
Jorge, designing Failsafe, like I knew it was gonna look awesome. And and David Colton's Cap costume was kind of me and Valerio working together. I kind of did like a rough design, sent it to Valerio, and he made it like 10 times better. Um, so yeah, I like that side of things.
The by the way, everybody, if you haven't gone to Marvel.com or looked in whatever catalog exists these days, issue 4 is David in the Cap battle suit, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that looks great. No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, Marvel let me do variants for the first 5 issues too, so I got to do a fun variant for issue 4 as well of David Colton, which is cool to get to do.
Oh man, yeah, I haven't seen your variants yet. You'll
Yeah,
forgive me. I stick to the press PDFs and the Marvel Unlimited and everything. So that's where I'm
yeah,
getting,
yeah.
you know. But that's wonderful. Also, and I'm glad you brought up Daredevil because again, we talked a bit about your Daredevil run, but I love
Hmm.
that they continued with Elektra Daredevil and Erica Schultz took over, and that was really nice.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's awesome, and like, every once in a while, I'll talk to them at Marvel, and there would be rumblings. Oh, maybe she should go back to her electric costume, but then they kind of just realize, oh no, it's actually really cool. That's Daredevil, because Marco designed just a an awesome,
Chichetto.
awesome costume for her as Daredevil. Yeah, and and it really stands the test of time, I think. So yeah, I still get a little thrill every time I pick up a comic and I'm like I see her in that costume. Like, oh yeah, that's from our run. That's fun. That's fun to see a thing continue long after you're gone.
Absolutely. Chip, am I wrong?
Yeah,
Because first of all, I'm glad that you introduced Vandal Savage to Batman. I don't know if that's ever really
yeah,
been done in any long-term way. It reminded me of
no,
during No Man's Land when Luther really came, center stage and was like,
hmm
"Oh no, that's a great Batman villain." And I would say the same about Vandal. Tell me about that decision of bringing Vandal Savage to Gotham.
yeah. I mean, forget the actual origins of it because like a lot of me talking with the editors and with Teeny, who was writing Catwoman at the time, we
Sure.
were kind of building up towards a crossover, and the fact that Vandal, the meteor that created Vandal, is also the stuff that created Ra's al Ghul, and like there is that kind of weird Batman-y connection. And there's that great Grant Morrison thing of Batman kind of in the caveman days as well.
Yeah.
Um, so there was all of that, but like the real driving thing, and as stupid as it sounds, is Vandal Savage is an aristocrat caveman. The perfect place on the planet for him is Wayne Manor. Aristocrat cave. Like it's just the more I thought about it, it looks like, oh my God, I just gotta find some way to get Vandal Savage in that house and that cave. Like the aristocratic caveman in Wayne Manor with the Batcave just made so much sense. And he's a fun character to write too. Just this kind of brutish man and having, Court of Owls kind of, work their magic to make him police commissioner. It's just the kind of police commissioner we haven't seen before, right?
Yeah.
Just like this brutal kind of like, yeah, he's a caveman. And
Exactly.
like it's been so fun also seeing Matt pick up those threads and run with it. Like, we text obviously like every day.
Sure.
And at one point he's just like, "Oh, Vandal Savage is such a treat." And it's true. Like when you're writing them and you see Jorge draw them too, especially, it's just like, "Oh yeah, no, that's a fun Batman villain." Just to mix things up, right?
My God, yes, and truly, you read my mind because honestly, I talked to Matt a couple weeks ago about his Batman, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Oh
so
yeah,
glad you're
yeah,
sticking with Vandal and everything." And he's like, "Yeah, man, absolutely, my God." And again,
yeah,
it's a great idea, and also
yeah,
Jim Gordon being a beat cop again. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
yeah. I really like that idea. I think because when Matt was coming on board, I think he had some different ideas for Jim, and I kind of ran the idea of be caught by him because I feel like I want him to start from the bottom again, kind of making his way back up. Uh, because there's something kind of really fun about that, like having to be within the system to keep an eye on Vandal, but also being totally under his thumb. And yeah, and then Matt was like, oh, okay, that works. And again, he's run with it and in cool, fun ways. So yeah,
No, I love
yeah.
it,
That
and
this has been, I mean, this has been a really fun process of just like handing the book over to my best friend, you know? Like we did like a dick joke book for like 10 years. And now both of us have written Batman. It's very weird. Um, but yeah, it's been a delight. Like there's this weird thing where like, talking to people who have left books, they can't read them after they leave the books because it like
well, I
because
always
they
say
and I've heard this more than once.
my analogy always was it's like you've had a long-term relationship with a girl, and it's like I don't want to see anybody else dating him or marry him or anything
This is
like that.
this
So
is
tell me about
exactly
you.
what
Yeah.
this is exactly what everyone would say to me, that it's just like it feels like you're watching like an ex with somebody new. And maybe it's because I'm a pervert, but like I kind of like watching my ex with Matt. I kind of really like it. I like just sitting in the corner and watching. I don't know. I got no problem with it at all.
That's surprisingly appropriate. So I respect that absolutely.
I think I like it more than writing it.
Well, that's great too. But also, honestly, that you've got enough of self confidence and ego that you're like, yeah, great, it's gonna happen. It happens all the time. Who cares?
That's not even, I think it's the opposite of that. I think it's the fact that
Tell me.
I've got no ego.
Oh, that's what
Like,
I
I
mean.
don't care.
Forgive me. That's what I mean. Yes.
No, no,
I'm,
no. Yeah. Like,
you're
like
confident enough in your own self that, yeah, it's like, hey, I should be doing that. Well, you did it. You did it for a long time.
it's not even confident enough in my own self because like I did a fine job, but it was fine. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know. Like, everything I do, I'm just like, I did a fine job. Like, okay, I did a well enough job to get the next gig.
sure.
And that's really what matters. I am not the best comic book writer out there. I am far from it, and I know that. And that's fine. Um, yeah, I don't know. In a lot of ways, I think I'm broken inside because I don't really have jealous feelings about uh, career moves or books or people. I just kind of do what I like to do, and these companies pay me to do it, and these artists, amazing artists, draw these books, and then they send them to me, and I'm just like, this is great. What a great way to make money. Like I'm just having a blast. And then I wrap it up. I'm like, Batman. I was like, all right, I feel like I'm done, and that was that. And then Matt's doing it with Jorge. I'm like, this is amazing.
I
The fact
love
that
to.
he gets to work with Jorge too, I'm just like, yeah, so good.
No, I'm with you, man. No, no, and just like you were saying about Chichetto on Daredevil with you, no, I'm glad these people are getting that opportunity and really showing their best stuff when they're working with you and Matt
Yeah,
and everybody.
yeah,
The I also
yeah.
appreciate and I forgive me because it was your comiXology book with Jason Liu, Night. What was it called? The Vampires,
I've
right?
done a couple of them.
Oh, I
There
was
was
thinking.
the All Nighter. Yeah,
The All Nighter, excuse me. All right, that's what I was thinking of. But I kind of like in the same way that
yeah,
Matt. Well, first
yeah,
of all, I could do the chain that Brubaker brought Matt in, and then Matt helped Remender and people like yourself
yeah.
get to Marvel and kind of get their feet wet and everything. And it seems like you did it with Jason as well.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Jason got into Marvel all on his own,
Did
really.
he?
Like,
Okay,
um, yeah, I mean, like, obviously they knew of him because of him doing stuff with me because we did a couple of books, comiXology. Um, I helped him out with the Star Wars gig too at
hmm.
IDW.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what the first thing he did at Marvel
You
was,
didn't do public
if
domain
I
with
had
him,
any
did you? It
involvement.
was that was different, right? It wasn't public domain that you did with him. Or what? Forgive me. Isn't that the name of your one of your other creator-owned
No,
things?
no, no. I did public. Yeah, public domain is just me, and then the
Just,
domain was Rachel Stott.
gotcha.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember Jason's first thing at Marvel and how that happened. Yeah, I don't recall.
Yeah.
But it's been great seeing him kind of
Yeah.
uh rise through Marvel and tackle these cool books and like the horror stuff and all the Infinite comics. Like he's a huge talent who can do it all, which is, very rare.
Are there characters that you've played with already that you've left? I mean, again, it feels like to me you left everything you wanted to say about Batman out on the field, but you had your moments with like the Thing
Yeah.
and the Human Torch and Spider-Man and things like that. Are there characters that you've had a moment with that you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting back to them and doing a longer run?
No,
No?
I mean it's one of those things where I genuinely don't think about the characters unless somebody asks me, do I want to write them? And that's when I start to think about it. Like all my energy is always focused on the thing I'm doing at the time. Like I've got Marvel gigs right now that I'm just like, all right. I wake up in the morning, I sit down, I start working. And at the end of the day, I just turn it off and I go with friends and hang out with my wife and cook dinner or whatever. I just don't even think about it. So yeah, like if an editor approaches me and says, hey, are you interested in writing a Forbish Man series? Then I go, let me go and think about it. And I
Sure.
go and I think about it. And if I have a story, I say yes. If I don't, I say no. Like I've had instances in the past where companies have approached me with big characters and said, do you want to do this? And I go, let me think about it. I go, I think about it, and I don't come up with anything that I'm really happy with. And so I say no. Like I'd rather just like wait and and have the idea and get excited about it and do it. There are a few writers out there who they have ideas from when they were kids that they're holding on to do, or from when they first started in comics. And they hold on to those ideas so hard that when it comes time to actually do them, they've lost all critical faculties about that idea, and they can't tell if it's a good idea or a bad idea anymore. And then it lands with a thud, and it's just like, well, yeah, because it wasn't necessarily a good idea. Just because you've had the idea for 30, 40 years and been holding it like some silver coin, um, doesn't mean it's going to work when you actually sit down to write it, because it might be dated. You might have a dated idea. So it's good to just really kind of focus on the moment in time when you're asked to write something, to see if you have something that suits it. I find, anyways.
When you were writing, and remind me, it was Marvel 2-in-1 when you had the Human Torch in the Thing,
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah,
Wasn't that
yeah,
the time? Yeah, I want to make sure
yeah,
it was a Marvel team up, but yeah, it was 2-in-1 because, of course, that was the Thing's original book back in the 70s. That was a
yeah.
weird time because
Yes.
obviously the people on top were like, well, we don't have rights to the Fantastic Four from a movie standpoint, so therefore no Fantastic Four. So were there any other guardrails put up for you while you were writing the Thing in the Human Torch like that? Was there no, don't put Sue in, don't put Johnny in, or don't put Reed in, or whatever, or anything weird?
No, I mean, ultimately they didn't want it to become a Fantastic Four book, so I couldn't really bring Reed and Sue back and just call it Marvel 2-in-1.
Sure.
But um but they also didn't stop me from showing them or including them, because they at some point they do kind of pop up uh uh in flashbacks and in present.
Hmm.
And then by the time we wrapped up, Fantastic Four was back, because Dan Slott is was writing the main series, and so I was able to have a couple of issues with everyone in it, kind of a modern day kind of wrapping up of the story. And they wanted me to continue Marvel 2-in-1, and I just said to them, I'm like, don't push your Fantastic Four luck here. Like, you're bringing back Fantastic Four, have the focus be on that. Like, don't have a second Fantastic Four thing happening over here. Like, it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna make any sense. And also, I kind of told the story so I could wrap it up and let Dan kind of have the spotlight that he deserved to properly launch that book. So yeah, that's how that went down.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah, no, I went to the premiere.
How was that? What was that experience like? Is that your first Marvel premiere?
Second, I went to the Daredevil Born
Born
Again
Again?
premiere
Okay.
a few months before that, because they had one of my characters in it. And the Fantastic Four one was because they brought us out for a set visit. I went with Fraction, actually, to visit the set 7 months ago or whatever, and that was such a great experience. And I think because we were at the set, they were like, "Oh, they should probably come to the premiere." So I got to,
Nice.
get all gussied up. Brought my wife, who doesn't give a shit about any of this. It was very funny. Basically, I'm like, "Look, we can both go. Watch the trailer. Tell me if you want to go." And she watched the trailer. She's like, "It looks like there's a story there I can follow. I will go." I'm like, "What more can you hope for?" So yeah, we went and hung out with like cool people and wore fancy outfits and saw the movie, and yeah, it was delightful. It's a good
For the set
experience.
for the set visit, like, did you see the house? Did you see all the retro
Yes.
iconography and everything that was in there? All the turntables and old-fashioned
Yeah,
TVs and everything?
uh,
Talk to me. Yeah.
one of the beautiful things about visiting that set was there were no blue or green screens anywhere. Like they built so much of that. Like the only kind of time they had a blue screen was kind of outside the Baxter Building window, so they could show, the city. But like two floors of the Baxter Building, and we were just like going into every nook and cranny. Like they had like kind of teen beat style magazines kind of laying out with Johnny Storm kind of features on it. I'm just like, this is wild. Like every little detail was just amazing. Um, it's such a cool style, the aesthetic of it all, and the fact that it was all physical is just awesome. And then they take us to the next thing, and it's like, this is cool. Or they rebuilt Times Square. I'm just like, that's nuts. and you go around the corner and Herbie the robot is rolling towards you. I'm like, this is wild. It was they put on such a good show for us. I'm a very cynical man, and I was delighted. I was cackling with delight almost every moment of that set visit. And then, meeting the cast and the director, just like this is cool. I can get used to this.
Tell
Yeah,
me
a
about
lot
Born
of fun.
Again. Tell me about Born Again. And forgive me, which character again was of yours did they use?
Uh, Detective Cole North,
Yes.
played by
Okay.
an actor named Jeremy Earl, um, and so that was super fun. I kind of found out uh, at New York Comic Con just because like CB Cebulski just kind of introduced me to Jeremy, and he's like, "Hey, this guy's playing Cole North." I'm like, "What?" Like I didn't know about any of this, and so that was awesome because Marco was also in town, so we got to do like a photo of all of us
Oh,
before anyone
nice.
knew who this guy was.
Sure.
And then before it came out, I was kind of told what Cole's kind of arc would be, which was
Hmm.
um, he's a cop who goes really bad, kills a guy, and gets blown up. I'm like, that is different than what I did with
Sure.
Marco,
Sure.
but but then I'm like, I don't know about this. But then the check cleared. I'm like, I guess it's okay. And
Again,
it was fun. Like,
yeah,
we get to go to the premiere and again get all dressed up and hang out with Charlie Cox and drink fun drinks at the party and watch the first two episodes and yeah and also just the guy who played Cole, Jeremy, he's just like a great guy. So like
cool.
I'm just hanging out with a guy who looks like the character that Marco drew, and he had this awesome gig on a Marvel show. I'm just like, hey, this is fun. This is so fun. It really didn't represent what we did in the comics, but like I don't know, this guy got a job acting, to support his family, and he's a cool dude, and we got to fly out there and hang out with people, and like I don't know, I'm just delighted by all of it.
Outstanding. And yeah, I was relieved that the show was as good as it was because I was a little concerned that unlike the Netflix show that it might get tamped down as far as the violence or whatever. And certainly it was not tamped down. It was very appropriate as a Daredevil street
No,
story.
ramped up, really.
Yeah, yeah. No, I loved it. And I
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
for sure. I really loved. I loved it.
I'm excited to see what they do with season two. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, same, same.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, what else can I well, creator own side, what's happening for you?
Oh,
Do you have time?
we have a book coming out right now. I don't have time, but I have a book coming out from Distillery because I signed up to do a few books with them, and so
Yeah.
Time Waits came out with I co-wrote with David Brothers and Marcos Toe drew it. Matt Wilson colored it. It was amazing, and that was super fun. I love the format, and so we did another one called White House Robot Romance with
Yes, I
Rachel
did see.
Stott
Yes,
and Tamara
excuse me.
Bonvillain.
Yes. So yeah, and that's out right
And
now,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
super. Yeah, issue one is out. Issue two is coming out soon. It's standard distillery format, 45 pages, oversized, doing 3 issues, complete story. Yeah, it's gorgeous and it's fun and it's light but serious and a little prescient. It was kind of about a war between U.S. and Canada, which I wrote before things kind of start to sour between our
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, oh, whoops.
Well, and give people the
But yeah,
capsule
no,
of,
it's a fun one. It's
yeah.
about I think a lot of it's just kind of like yeah, a lot of it kind of stemmed from the manga podcast that I do, I think. Um, just to kind of have this really kind of fun, weird, wacky premise with a bit of a romance to it. It's about two robots that work at the White House, one Secret Service, one's the personal chef. It's about their relationship and them kind of falling in love on the job and then running away with state secrets. So it's like sci-fi, romance, action, some humorous bits, and yeah, commentary on AI and robotics, and yeah, I really enjoy working in that format. It's a hard one to kind of get people into, just because it doesn't fit in your comic boxes. Um, but it's so beautiful. I love those kind of like the square shaped books.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I think the format is great, and again, to Distillery's credit, they keep getting great, talented people to write and draw and everything. So, I mean, I've talked to Azzarello about his book. I'll be talking to Joe Henderson and everything about his book, and I know the
Yeah.
trade is coming out. No, I'm glad, dude, and I'm glad that you're having fun with that, and also making time still to
Hmm.
do the creator itch and everything.
It is hard. It'll probably be my last one for a while. I've got one more book, but like a mini,
Okay.
but yeah, like I'm ramping up a lot with Marvel stuff right now, and that's gonna eat up a lot of time. So yeah,
Have they announced
a lot going
the
on.
other beyond Cap? Have they announced whatever new books you're doing for Marvel? Not yet.
No, they announced like a one shot that I wrote about Doom, but I've got a lot coming up for Marvel. Like I was just kind of looking at my my schedule. Like I think Cap 3 came out, and
Yes.
I've written up to issue 13. I've written 3 issues of another thing, one more issue of another thing. Uh, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot, a lot that's been written, that's being drawn. That hopefully they announce soon.
Tell me about the Doom one shot. Is that tied to One World Under, or is it post? What can you tell us about that one shot, if anything?
It Yeah, it's post One World Under Doom. I think it's called The Will of Doom, and it's about his will.
Ah,
And I can't spoil One World Under Doom, but the fact it's called The Will of Doom, maybe there's some sneaky hints there as to what happens, or maybe doesn't happen. But yeah, it's being drawn by Cafu, who I worked with before,
sure.
and he's fantastic. And it was a way to kind of tie in like kind of a lot of stuff from Cap and Ryan's Fantastic Four run uh, with Doom and some of the Red Hulk stuff, and kind of set the stage for the next kind of big kind of Marvel story. So yeah, it's a good one.
Chip, the last time we talked, I believe you did that Future Avengers story. And forgive me, I'm forgetting the
Yeah,
title right now. Yeah, give me the title again of that.
Avengers Twilight.
Yeah, Avengers Time. Dude, that was amazing. I really, really
Oh, cool.
enjoyed
Thanks.
that. And again, and it's great to do a future story, I would imagine, because all bets are off. You can, set these people up as you did, and Tony's son, and also
Yeah,
again, Cap coming out of retirement and dealing with the new generation and stuff. No, so yeah,
yeah.
yeah, talk about that story. I really appreciated everything. And forgive me, did Cafu draw that, or did was there the other
No,
artist?
Daniel Acuna.
Of course, Daniel, who another great artist and everything, and I always love his stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, please.
yeah. Daniel was fantastic. I mean, he like kind of he did everything on it, like all the colors as well. So it took him a long
Wow,
time. It was definitely a long gestating project. Uh, but it started because Tom Brevoort approached me and was just like, "Hey, I've always wanted to do like a kind of a future Avengers story. Do you have any desire in tackling something like that?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no." Like the idea started coming immediately. I was like, "Yeah, this could be cool." It's funny you're saying, kind of the all bets are off nature of those stories. Like even as I was writing, I said in scripts, and Tom would write back and be like, you can do whatever you want, right? Like, don't pull your punches. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like I kept having to be reminded, like, no one's picking this up after I leave the title. Like I'm just doing this all myself. So yeah, it was very satisfying. I really like doing those kind of prestige minis, because each issue is 30 pages, which is nice and meaty. And it's a really solid collection, and it's its own story. And it's definitely one of those books where, like, if you haven't read an Avengers book or a Captain America book or whatever, you can pick it up and you can get it right away, and you get a full story. As a reader, that's what I really like. There's something wonderful about, Amazing Spider-Man number 894, whatever, and this long running continuity. But there's something really satisfying about like just a done in one kind of like, here you go, here's the full story. Yeah.
I'm with you. Absolutely. Did because again, it's a
Yeah.
different period in Cap's life in that story, but in a lot of was that in any way a dress rehearsal for what you wanted to bring to Cap with what you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, the Captain America gig was not on my radar when I was working on Avengers Twilight. But it made me love the character more. Like I wrote him in Invaders,
Yes.
so I got to write modern day Cap, and then I got to write kind of future Cap in Avengers Twilight, and so I think that's also why I wanted to pick up kind of Cap in the past a little bit in this new Captain America. Yeah, I've been circling around Cap for years, and to actually get to write the full series was a opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Oh, Chipper, I'm so glad you brought up that Invaders arc because I loved that so much, and there is something about the three Golden Age original Marvel characters: Human Torch, Jim Hammond, Steve Rogers,
Mhm.
and Namor, and they are war buddies, and it really does seem like, they just have this connection, and that even Namor at his most obnoxious, it's like at the end of the day, he trusts Jim and he trusts Steve, it seems to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, Namor's one of my favorite characters to write, and I think he's almost every writer at Marvel. He's up there for everyone to write. Like he's just got such a distinct voice, and yeah, that deep kind of no matter what happens, he still has that deep trust of Steve, because of their time in the war. Uh, yeah, I
and you,
love that dynamic.
and
I wrote some dialogue between those two just the other day, and like
oh,
my editor pointed out, he was just like, "Oh man, like I love that relationship." I'm like, "Yeah, me too." Like every time I just put them in the scene together, it's like, "Oh yeah, that works."
well, and in your Invader story, Namor's out of control. And it's like, all right, if there's anybody in the universe, well, there's three people. And it was great too, because I brought it up to you in the conversation. I'm like, Steve, Jim Hammond, and Sue Storm. And they're the only people that might be able to get through Namor's madness or whatever anger he might be going through and everything to go,
Yeah,
hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? So I love that, man. And I'm psyched. So
yeah,
that's
it's true.
new conversation with Namor coming up in Cap.
Yeah, yeah, eventually, and maybe in
Okay.
Cap, I can't say
All right. Fair
somewhere.
enough. That's great, man. Well, I'm excited for the announcements that may
Yeah,
be coming. You and I were
yeah,
talking off the air.
me too.
You're not going to be in New York, but that's okay. Any
I
American?
know.
Are you going to do any American shows coming up? Or were you in San Diego?
I mean, I wasn't. I was in LA for the Fantastic Four premiere, and San Diego was like the week after, but I just
Okay.
didn't plan it out well enough, and I was on vacation, so I was like, I'm just gonna go back to my vacation. Um, yeah, I don't have anything lined up. I did a signing at Third Eye in Annapolis, uh, in the spring, but no, I got like a European tour kind of at the end of October. Like I'm doing
Okay.
MCM London, and then I'm going to a shop in Berlin to do a signing, and then I'm going to Lucca, Italy, uh, to do that show. So I think that's gonna be my fall plan for shows. But yeah, I'll have to figure out American shows for next year.
My friend Mitch Halleck has Terrificon in Connecticut, and he literally is one of the biggest Captain America fans out there. Forgive me, Chip. Did you do the show before? I can't remember.
Have not. I've been invited before, and I always have something else going on. They invited me
Sure.
this year, and I couldn't do it. And they seem very genuinely excited. And every creator I know that's done it loves the show. Um, so I definitely should do it next
Well,
year. Yeah,
it's kind of become my one of my home shows, even though I'm here in Chicago. And yeah, I'm pleased with the creators I've convinced to go and everything. And yeah, so
yeah,
and again, with you in the midst of Cap and everything, it might be if the schedule allows, obviously, So
yeah. Again, there's always schedule stuff. Yeah,
sure,
it's hard.
no, I respect
Yeah,
that. Chipper, as always, buddy. I'll wrap up here because I know it's a little later your time and everything, and I'm sorry that we couldn't involve the audience. But StreamYard has been very
the
clicky. Weird.
audience.
Yeah. Well, we can certainly talk enough to fill an hour as we always do. But seriously, man, it's truly
Exactly,
been
exactly.
the 10 plus years that we've known each other. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you at this level. I wish we were
Same,
neighbors.
man.
You might get sick of me if we live closer. So maybe familiarity breeds
Impossible.
contempt. God bless you, son. That's the right answer. That's right. No, truly, man. We've had some good times at shows
Yeah,
and certainly talking and everything. And it always means a lot that you come back and talk to me
yeah.
because really I'm just thrilled with everything that's happening with you and continued success. And I'll once those Marvel announcements are made and we're closer to some of these other books and stuff, we'll have another discussion if you'll allow.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks, man. Always a pleasure.
All right, I'll stop it there. Beautiful. That was great.